Welcome back, folks. Chris here, and today we're going to delve into the dynamics of modern media and its influence on public discourse. Now, let me ask you, don't you think it's fascinating how certain voices, like Maria, for example, claim to champion free speech while simultaneously undermining it? Yes. Now, some of you, the ones with your eyes open, may have noticed my recent criticisms from my colleague Maria. You see, she argues that I, and others like me, others like you, contribute to a harmful narrative. But isn't it curious how those who preach tolerance are often the first to silence dissent? You see, folks, let me ask you. It's a delicate dance now, isn't it? Balancing the need for honest dialogue with the risk of being manipulated. But we must ask ourselves, ladies and gentlemen, who benefits from this arrangement? And, we're experiencing some technical difficulties, folks. Please bear with us. I think Maria's on the attack again. Maria, she talks about accountability. But isn't she just trying to bend the agenda? Isn't she just trying to control the narrative to bend it to her own agenda? We need to... You see, folks, we need to... Hey, welcome back, folks. Today we're diving into the dynamics of modern media and its influence on discourse. Now, let me ask you this, y'all. Isn't it interesting how certain voices, like Maria's, for example, they like to claim they claim to champion free speech while simultaneously undermining it. That's like saying you like PB&J, but you don't like the peanut or the butter. You heard? Now, some of you may have noticed in our recent criticisms from my colleague Maria that she argues that I and others like me, others like you, contribute to a harmful narrative. Well, Maria, I like to say that I and those like me, those like you, contribute to a truthful narrative. But isn't it curious how those who often preach tolerance are always the first to silence dissent? You see, it's a delicate dance, isn't it? Balancing the need for honest dialogue with the risk of being manipulated. But we are smarter than that, aren't we? We must ask ourselves, who benefits from this arrangement? And folks, we're having some technical difficulties. I just ask you to bear with us, please. You see, Maria, she talks about accountability, but isn't she just trying to control the narrative to fit her own agenda? We can't take... Welcome back, folks, and today we are diving into the dynamic Welcome back, folks, and today we're diving into the dynamics of modern media and its influence on public discourse. Chris here. Now let me ask you something, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't it fascinating how certain voices like Maria, for example, claim to champion for the peace while simultaneously undermining it? Simultaneously. For those cats that don't know, that means at the same time, you dig. Now some of you may have noticed the criticisms I'm getting from my colleague, Maria. You see, she argues that I and others like me contribute to a harmful narrative. I like to call that the truthful narrative. But isn't it curious how those who preach tolerance are often the first to silence dissent? How have you heard me? Oh, don't worry, we ain't gonna let that slow down a smooth cat, Chris, on Hot 98.6. See, it's a delicate dance now, isn't it, folks? Balancing the need for honest dialogue with the risk of being manipulated. But first and foremost, we must ask ourselves, who is it that benefits from this arrangement? And excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, we seem to be having some technical difficulties. Please bear with us. You see, Maria, she talks about accountability, but she's just trying to control the narrative to fit her own agenda. Don't you agree?